Hello, and thanks for joining us for MCAT's ongoing interviews with City Council candidates in the 2015 election. I'm Joel Baird. Today in the studio is Michelle Cares. She is running as a candidate for City Council Ward 6. Welcome, Michelle.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
As I've mentioned to all the other candidates, have asking the same 5 questions to give you guys an opportunity to just talk in a quieter environment than a public forum.
Sure.
And allow people to get to know you a little bit electronically. So here's your first question. What motivates you to run for City Council office?
Perfect. Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. I appreciate the opportunity to take a step back with just one person and talk a little bit more. I'm motivated to run for City Council because I've been on my neighborhood council for about 3 or 4 years now. First in the River Road neighborhood when we lived on Wyoming, and then now on the Franklin to the Fort neighborhood council. And through that experience, I was exposed to city politics and really discovered that it's something I care a lot about, am very interested in, and think I have the skills necessary to be a contributing member. The neighborhood councils are run by the Office of Neighborhoods within the city. And so not only have I been on those 2 neighborhood councils, but also a community forum where one person from every neighborhood council comes together monthly to hear about citywide issues. And then the community forum leadership team, so 4 different committees within the Office of Neighborhoods have really kind of cemented this belief that this is a good direction for me. It's kind of a 3-pronged. So this service that I've been doing also.
And it came naturally to you. Not everyone says, oh, I've got to go join a neighborhood council.
I absolutely. I remember getting the postcard that said, neighborhood meeting right when we first moved in, and my husband said, now, are you going to join this? And I was like, yes, probably. I'll see you in a couple hours. And I came home as the secretary, and that's just kind of my personality, is to continually try and be involved, and yeah, absolutely coming naturally. And I remember hearing Michelle Reinhardt Levine, a former Montana state legislator, one time say to a group I was a part of, everyone should run, if not you, who, if not now, when, which to many people is a familiar saying, but I had never heard it, and I thought, me, now? And that has just been in the back of my mind. And so when the Ward 6 election is coming up, I talked to Ed Childers, who's the current person in this seat, and he's retiring, and said, I think we share values, you should run. And I said, okay,
wow,
I'm in.
Ed's stamp of approval.
Absolutely. He agreed to be my treasurer, and so it's just been kind of building through this neighborhood council, and sort of this thing in the back of my head that's saying, if not you, who, and if not now, when. So
yeah, you sound like a people person.
Yeah.
And you also mentioned you've been on my show.
I have.
I remember.
Yeah, quite right.
For the YWCA.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where you were working.
I was. And I'm now on the board of the YWCA, so I definitely wasn't able to fully let go after I stopped. In my AmeriCorps term, I was an AmeriCorps member when I started there.
Okay.
And so that's an organization that I volunteer with. And another place I volunteer is with New Leaders Council, which is an organization that works to recruit, train, and promote tomorrow's leaders. So I'm very community
It's a good
involved.
idea, right? Because politics is tough for people to say, oh, I'm going into politics.
Yeah, it is. You needed a good network that's willing to support you, which is helpful to have.
And that kind of dovetails into question number 2. Why do you think you are qualified to run for this office?
I think that I'm qualified because I've had the opportunity to witness City Council for quite a few years now. I remember Caitlin Koppel, who was a City Council person recently, mentioning that she had gone to different candidate forums and thought, wow, I have these skills. I'm as capable of these people who are running. So I heard her say that. I went to a couple candidate forums 2 years ago, and I thought a similar thing. I thought, wow, I have these skills, and I could be a competent member of this body. And so it's basically through observation of other city council members that I feel very confident that I have the skills necessary. And some of those skills that I think I really portray very well are perseverance. Like you said, I'm an outgoing person. That's definitely true, and definitely enjoy listening to people, which I think is one of the best values in a city council person, because we're just essentially one 4-year team with 2-year staggered terms. But a big team building exercise wherein we take in all the opinions of the city and try and make good, sound decisions. And so, good listener, very perseverant, and very community involved. And so those are the skills that I think I bring to the table, and I think that they're on par with the other council members. So I look forward to joining them.
Okay. What will your priorities be if you are elected?
So I think that the things I just mentioned as my skills are going to be my priorities to continue enhancing and subscribing to those values. I will prioritize listening to people, and I will prioritize sticking to a subject. For example, in the Franklin to the Fort neighborhood, we have been trying to get a street light on South and Johnson for 8 months, and that's something that could have absolutely fallen off the sideboard. And it wasn't me who was able to push this subject through, but Jane Kelly with the Office of Neighborhoods was just like doggone it on this topic and wouldn't let it go and kept following up and kept following up. And that's kind of what I'd like to exemplify and prioritize, is making sure that issues that people bring up are addressed at some point, whether that be immediately or 8 months later. So listening, and so then priorities in terms of decisions is maybe kind of where you're coming from with that question. And I care about the city owning our water, and I will support that endeavor as it continues forward. I really care about good oversight of the Russell Street remodel. That's important to Ward 6. Phase 1 is finalized, and that goes through Broadway to Wyoming on Russell Street. And I'm happy with the decisions that were made there. But phases 2 and 3 are yet to be decided, and though it is a majorly federally funded project, it is definitely taking input from citizens. And
oh, it has been for years.
Yeah, exactly. Decades, right? And so I think that continuing oversight on that is really important to me, because it's going to impact Ward 6 in my everyday life. And then I got involved because of neighborhood councils, and that is another way you could say that is through civic engagement. And so that's something that's really important to me. I'd like to ensure that the way that you can be civically engaged with the city is easy to do, successful. People feel successful when they volunteer on city boards and committees and on neighborhood councils. And I'm not certain, because I haven't explored it fully, but it seems to me as though there's a lot of people volunteering on multiple boards. So it's not that I want to make more opportunities to volunteer, but just like beef up the opportunities that we have currently. And so I think that would maybe be a pet project of mine, but overall I don't have an axe to grind. I'm looking forward to encountering all these surprising topics that City Council encounters that we never would have guessed would have happened during the term, like exotic animals and gun ordinances and things like that. You know, I can't predict those, but I look forward to listening to people and making decisions about them.
Oh, good, because this next question asks you to predict. What does the future of Missoula look like to you?
Yeah, I was thinking about that question a lot. You had shared these questions with us in advance, and I just looked through them, and I thought, well, that seems good. I could answer that. And this one, I was thinking, gosh, I think it comes back to values. I think that it looks like a community that is all on the same page to some extent. It's not exactly what I wanted to say. I guess what Missoula looks like to me in the future is pretty similar. I'm happy with our community now. I'd like it to be, maybe I'm looking forward to that arts center, the Fox Theater as people are calling it. I think a bigger arts conference center is a necessary thing for our community, which speaks to my belief that infill is a good idea. So I think that Missoula looks similar through smart growth, checking back into the thing that I love about Missoula, which is, you know, the river runs through it. And the further you get from Missoula, the more bastards there are, or other like Steinbeckian quotes that we talk about here. So smart growth that is based on our values, which is a belief and love for the outdoors, community, and community values.
Okay. Yeah, when Jack was here, I'd asked him that question. He said, I think the city is going to get to know itself better in the future, that for a long time, Missoula was made up of separate neighborhoods, but if it continues to grow inward, that people have a sense of the city like they never had before.
Right.
Because
Yeah,
he
I
was
think
big
that's
on
well said.
trails, so he was talking about connecting and so on.
Right.
But your future, that sounds pretty good too.
Yeah, it's a little vague, and I think that just because, again, I don't have an axe to grind, and so I look forward to. I really care about open space bond money. I like the way that the city and the county have been spending those open space bond funds from the 2006 bond, and I look forward to investing more money in those ways. But that's kind of already happening, and so kind of staying the course by being value centric is really what I look forward to seeing.
Okay.
And I think that goes along with what Jack was saying too.
Well, here's your last question, and that's an opportunity for you to sort of, give out your message. What haven't we touched on that you would like to say?
I would like to share a little bit more about my background and my passions just as an individual so that people will have a little better idea of who I am. And then maybe I'll say some other things then, but we'll start there. So this is a speech I've been working on for some time, so it's going to sound a little bit canned in the beginning. My name is Michelle Cares, and I'm running for Missoula County, Missoula City Council in Ward 6. Because I have been involved in the neighborhood councils. I am on the board of the YWCA, like I mentioned, New Leaders Council, and 3 different committees within the Office of Neighborhoods. I'm an avid birder. I saw 182 species of birds last year across the United States and Canada. We were in a competition with my husband's family, and we beat them all, which shows that I am a little bit competitive. I have been on a team sport every year for 23 years, which I think reflects a team attitude and someone who can work well with others. I am a recent homeowner, a chicken owner, a bicycle and canoe enthusiast, and a transplant. I'm from Spokane. I came here for college, and like so many, have chosen to make Missoula my home. Are you from here, Joel?
No, I grew up on Long Island.
Okay, a little further away than me.
Yeah,
it's funny. I'll look forward to hearing how you got here. And I love it here, and I look forward to giving back to this community the way that it's given to me, because I wasn't involved to such a degree in my hometown. And I think that Missoula really lends itself to getting involved and a variety of opportunities to do so. And so, to sum it all up, I am a very enthusiastic individual who's looking forward to this opportunity. And if you, viewer, are wondering more, please call me at 509-844-8708. Email me at caresforcouncil@gmail.com, or find me on the Facebook.
I say that too.
Yeah, it's funny too. And I am just grateful to be here. I think that's all I have to say. Any further questions that you may have?
Well, I'm not supposed to.
Oh, don't then. Keep it inside,
Let's ask
Joel.
Scott how much time we have.
Probably a lot.
He's saying no. No more time? 7? He says we have 7 more minutes.
Man,
That's quite a
oh
bit.
man.
All right. Let me think if I can.
No.
Future, we asked all that.
Right, we touched those things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, here's something that a candidate had brought up, and I'm sure with your background with the YWCA, you would also have something to address. He mentioned that while he felt that the university and city and county had done a very good job in tuning, fine-tuning their response to a violent sexual assault, he was very interested in what role the city council might have in helping prevent sexual assault in the city.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I think that I really like what the Make Your Move campaign is doing. And I think that prevention is really focused around education and talking to people early about bystander intervention. And so the Make Your Move campaign is a county community collaboration that is working to kind of get out the idea about bystander intervention. And so I guess what I comment on in terms of stopping things before they take place is just outreach campaigns, I think, are effective in that way. And I would definitely support the Make Your Move campaign continuing. It's been really interesting for those of you who might not know. The Make Your Move campaign started here as a response to the DOJ investigation.
Department of Justice investigation.
Thank you.
Just for the viewers.
Jargon. Got to work on that. I appreciate it. And it's been picked up across the country by other sexual assault groups and movements. And they've done a variety of outreach campaigns that talk about, you know, my friend was super drunk and somebody was hitting on them. And so I, you know, took off. And then in little font at the bottom, it says, with her in tow, because I knew she wasn't safe to to leave by herself. And I think that that's a really cool community story, and it's so great that Missoula is kind of at the forefront of that particular campaign, and really being viewed as a leader and in response to something that was really negative.
So right, like the Krakauer book
exactly,
that came out.
Which I really enjoyed reading personally. If you haven't read it, I would encourage you to do so. I think that some people were really, and me included, was worried about what that would reflect for Missoulians and how it would make our town look. But I think that if you do read the book, it's a glowing review of the town, and it's a really interesting look at that investigation. Yeah, gosh. But so outreach is really my main thing, and I think that I do look forward to maybe having a voice in that regard. I appreciate you asking the question. Thanks for helping me fill my time.
Yes.
Other things that I care about are the prison diversion initiative that's really going on right now. If I understand correctly, Cynthia Wolkin, Emily Bentley, the sheriff, and a variety of other people are really taking on a deep look into jail diversion. And I think there was an article printed about this just this week, but I haven't had a chance to read it. But I would really look forward to lending my voice to that, having felons in my family and knowing the really horrible implications that they have had on other lives, like notwithstanding their crimes, but how their lives are impacted later if we are to continue to criminalize all of our neighbors, then who will be left, and how will they find a place to live, and all of these challenges that criminals are encountered with. And so that's something I care a lot about. Yeah, I think that I am just out of things to share, and I really appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, thank you, Michelle,
Joel,
for coming. And thank you for watching our coverage of candidates for City Council in this election cycle, year 2015. If you are a voter and you have not received a ballot by the time you're watching this program, please contact the Missoula County Elections Office to make sure that you're registered or that your address is correct. As always, for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird. We'll see you the next time.